Hello says welcome back to my channel, or if you are new here then just welcome. Hi, my name is Brenda. I do mostly paranormal videos here on my channel, so if that is something that you are interested in, please consider subscribing down below and turn on your post notifications so you do not miss another video like this one. Alright guys, with all of that being said, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. Alright, so as you guys can tell by today's title, today I am going to be reading some Reddit stories, and these Reddit stories are going to be about some more encounters with La Llorona. This was one of the videos I did a while back where I read some Reddit stories about encounters with La Llorona, so I decided to do another one, and I went to go find some more stories. Today I have 3 that I found for you guys, so I hope that you guys enjoy this video and that you guys enjoy me reading these stories. Go ahead and grab something to eat, grab a snack, anything to get comfortable and get ready to get spooked. Alright guys, so let me pull up my Reddit account. I gotta put my phone on airplane mode all the time when I read these, because for some reason my microphone doesn't like the phone being next to it. It must be have something to do with the frequency. But yeah, you guys seem to have really liked the last video, and I was like, why not do some more for you guys? So let me know if you guys like me doing this, where I read like different encounters that people have had with different sort of like folklore entities, I guess, or spirits, whatever you want to call it. But okay, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into story number 1. Oh my god, I don't know why I struggled saying all of that. Alright, so this one is by a deleted user, and it says, it's titled My Experience with La Llorona. I grew up in a small town in Mexico where there are many paranormal stories, which is certain that the weeping woman is the one that marked me for life. When my maternal grandmother died, I was 15 years old, and my uncle did not want my grandfather to be alone, so I was the one who had to go to sleep at my grandfather's house every night and keep him company. One night, after playing soccer with my friends, I was late, and I knew that there was no one to save me. I had to go to sleep at my grandfather's house and cross the dark roads, the river, the bridge. When I arrived at my grandfather's house, all normal, my dog was waiting for me. He was the one who gave him company during the day. A husky, all white and huge. I sat in an armchair next to my grandfather's bed while he watched the news on television. At 11 p.m., he turned off the television and we went to bed. 20 minutes later, my dog started to get restless. Squeals, barks, moves a lot. That made me restless since my dog is not afraid of anything. And that's when it all started. We heard a crying, deep, full of pain. It had an echo, and every time I got closer, there was a large window between my grandfather's bed and mine. My dog under the bed crying. It was a cry capable of paralyzing you, of freezing your soul, and every time it was closer to the window, and I could not move. After about 3 minutes, my dog came out from under the bed to bark. The crying was gone. My grandfather laughed and told me that such a loud woman doesn't let me sleep. I love how the grandpa was just kind of like, God damn, I'm trying to go sleep. Whoever's out there crying, please stop that. But that's super creepy. And I always hear about how the cries always seem to like change in distance. Obviously, if you guys have ever heard of the folklore of La Llorona, you know that there's like this thing where if she sounds really far away, that means she's really close, and if she sounds really close, it means she's really far away. And then so it seems like to me that it kept coming closer and going further away, like when you were hearing it through the window. I would be petrified, and I would totally understand that kind of fear where you're like paralyzed and you don't know what to do. You're just sitting there like, is this really happening right now? But yeah, very creepy. Let me know what you guys think. Now, let's move on to our second story. And this one is by the user Dreams562. And it is titled Grandma Followed La Llorona. And it says, so this is one of the many stories my mother has passed down to my siblings and I when we were very young. I'm gonna say I was about 9 to 10 years old, and they took place in Central America, El Salvador to be precise. My grandma one day was supposed to meet up with a friend to go to another friend's wake. Back then, people would stay all night mourning at the wake with the deceased. My grandma was waiting for her friend where they had agreed to meet, which happened to be near a little river/creek. Suddenly, she sees this woman from far away in all white, and my grandma says it looked just like her friend. Her name was Mary. So she starts following this woman, calling out for her, thinking it's her friend. She followed her by the river and then kept calling out for her, but no answer. It starts getting creepy when this woman is going towards these trees, away and away, and my grandmother started catching up. But as she was getting closer to her, she started to feel what she says. I don't really understand what they were trying to say here, but it says she started to feel what she says. Her shoulders were big, her head felt big, and she couldn't move anymore. She was close enough to see this woman's face that was covered by a veil, and she said the woman's face was a skull. My grandma somehow came out of her shock and ran as fast as she could. She said she felt as if she was running slow and wasn't getting away fast enough. These stories always gave me the chills but have always been fascinating. She states it was La Llorona, or the weeping woman, because she was walking by the river. They passed it and headed towards some trees. Please let me know if you want to read more stories like these. I'll be glad to write some more. Oh my god, I hate that. You know, like when you're dreaming and you're trying to run, but you can't run like fast enough. I feel like that's what she was trying to say, is what she was feeling when she was running away from La Llorona. And that's so crazy, the fact that she would follow her that far, especially when she wasn't answering. I would have, by the like 2 times of me calling out to them, I would have been like, I don't know, something's sus here. I would have gone the other way and gone back to the meeting place and been like, that can't be her, because obviously she's not answering to her name. So very brave of your grandma to even still follow her without really knowing whether it was her or not. Like, obviously she said she looked like her, but if she wasn't answering to her call and she was walking like not the direction of where they were going, obviously I would have been like, girl, you good, or like something, you know. But super scary still. And I would have done the exact same thing. I would have ran away as fast as I could. And the fact that she felt like she wasn't running fast enough, like, oh my god, I would hate that so much. Alright guys, so that is it for that one. And let's go on to our third story here. This one is by the user NM Nurse. And it's titled, My Mom Heard La Llorona Crying. And it says, so if you know Mexican/Hispanic folklore, you know about La Llorona. If not, I suggest you look into her story. My mom was 10 years old and lived next to a small ditch next to a highway. She stayed at her friend's house, which was a little closer to the ditch. The day went normal, riding bikes, playing, typical girl stuff. Then night came, and they knew it was time to get home once the streetlights came on. They were sitting in the friend's bedroom, radio on, listening to music and playing a card game. It was already dark out, and the music from the stereo filled the room. Now, my mom's friend lived with her mom and grandma, who both spoke fluent Spanish. My mom understood it, but could not speak it. My mom developed this overwhelming sense of anxiety and terror. Then it started crying. The girls both heard it, but brushed it off as a cat or a drunken neighbor. Soon the crying began to become louder and more obnoxious, like it wanted to be heard. The girls paused what they were doing, staring at the window. Once they looked that way, the crying became ear-splitting, so loud it resonated over the stereo, both girls having their hands over their ears, fearful of what was happening. The grandma burst in the room, holy water in one hand and a rosary in the other. She was screaming over the crying, praying in Spanish. My mom says that when she did this, the radio started to static and the lights began to flicker. Both the crying and the praying booming extremely loud until quiet. It all stopped. The grandma said a prayer over my mom and her granddaughter and made them go into the living room, instructing them not to return to that room for the night and not to look out the window. My mom returned home in the morning, not speaking of what had happened. Even when she tells the story now, an overwhelming sense of fear takes over and she gets goosebumps. Oh my goodness, that's so insane. Like that was like very chaotic for me. Like I was just like, oh my god, there's so much going on. Like it happened so quickly. And the grandma, oh, she was just ready for this. Is that who they said came into the room? Hold on. Yeah, their grandma. Like she was ready. She's like, I got my holy water, I got my rosary, let's go. And I have never heard of needing to pray for La Llorona to go away or anything like that. I feel like it's always been like an experience where like you hear it happen and then it, like nothing really happens, you know. It's just like she's a spirit and she's roaming around the area. I don't think she has like any ulterior motives where she's like trying to harm anybody or anything like that. It's just like if you hear it and then you get to tell people, you know. She doesn't follow anybody or attach herself to anybody. She is basically like one of those spirits that's in a loop. I know there's a specific word for those kinds of spirits, but they kind of like relive the same thing over and over, and which is why she just roams around creeks or rivers looking for her children. And I feel like people experience it all over different bodies of water because I feel like La Llorona maybe isn't stuck to one specific place. Maybe she roams around every single river that she can find, and then because she doesn't really know exactly where her kids ended up. Because if you know, a lot of rivers are connected and they go through many different parts and they even spill out into the ocean or lakes and stuff like that. So I feel like that could be an explanation as to why people from all over have experiences with La Llorona. That's why it was really interesting that she came in like full on like trying to get rid of this crying that they were hearing and came in praying and spilling holy water, because I've never had a story where that happened, so this was really crazy to me. I was just like, oh my gosh, she was prepared, she was ready to go. Like this has happened before, like she's had this happen before. But I mean, maybe grandma just has holy water laying around at all times for anything that could possibly happen to them in their house, right? Or just to protect or bless the house. But I really like that story either way, especially just the fact that they were just chilling, like listening to music, and then even when they heard this crying, like the static of the radio and then like the lights started flickering, that one was really scary to me. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the last story and the last encounter that I will be sharing with you guys. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys want to hear more stories about encounters with La Llorona from Reddit. That way I can look for some more and then make another one of these videos. Maybe find some longer stories so the next video will be a little bit longer. But that's going to be it from me, guys. But before I do end today's video, today's comment shout out goes to this person right here. Thank you so much for leaving a nice comment. As always, I really appreciate it and it really makes my day. And if you want to be the next comment shout out, all you have to do is leave me a nice comment down below, and that's it. And yeah, guys, with all of that being said, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Hopefully I will see you in my next one. Don't forget to stay safe and be kind. Bye bye.